Diversification is the protection against ignorance. This is a famous quote by Warren Buffett. But at the same time, there are a lot of investment advisors, actually all the investment advisors and friends and everyone who is going to come and say to you, hey, if you are investing, you have to diversify. So what's right? Should one diversify, or should one just focus on few niche stocks or few niche or very few investments? So that is what we are going to cover in our today's video in very simple, easy to understand 4 points. So let's start. Point number 1, diversification. If I ask you how many friends you have, what is the answer? And I'm not asking about your Facebook friends, I'm asking actually your real friends. So usually people will answer, I have 5 friends, 10 friends, 15, 20, some even say 100. Okay, fine, we'll take 100 at the face value if they want to say they have 100 friends. But now if I ask you how many actually real close friends you have, then the answer usually which you get is, I have 5, maybe 4, someone will say 3, 2, and a lot of people will say, I only have 1 good friend, 1 best friend. So what happened here, when you say that I have 100 friends or 20 or 30 or 40, that is diversification. And then over a period of time, you came down to having only few good friends. So let's go back in the history and see how actually you found these few good friends. So you went to a school or college or new company, and there you saw all different people. You started mingling and talking to all these different people and colleagues. That was diversification, because you yet didn't knew anything about them. You didn't knew who is like you and about whom you will understand or who will relate to you or you will relate to that person. And that was diversification. But over time, as you started understanding and hanging out with some people, they became your close friends because you liked them, they liked you, you had an understanding, you understood them, they understood you. And that is where you started creating your own small little group of close friends. Same story goes in stocks as well. Until you don't understand, you don't know people, when you explore all different kinds of stocks, and if you are ignorant, that is where you go ahead and you buy ETFs or mutual funds, a lot of mutual funds, a lot of ETFs, and you will keep getting the average return, which is fine. But if you really understand some businesses, if you know their financials, you know their fundamentals, you know how they're going to grow over time, how their cash flow is being generated, then you can make them your good friends. Second point is kind of a part of the first point itself, understanding. You got to understand a stock if you don't want to diversify, if you just want to invest in few 10, 15, 20 stocks. The whole idea of diversification is that you don't have enough time to understand stocks, or a person is so busy in day-to-day life they cannot spend time on understanding stocks. But if you understand something, or if you're working in that industry and because of your professional experience you now know how this particular company or industry functions, what their market is, how big their market will be in the future, from where the growth will come, how good the management is, how good the financials are, then you can invest in that one stock or in those few stocks. So that's the understanding. Third point, and the most important, is boring. Yes. Let's go back to our friend analogy. How did you engage with a lot of people in a new company, new school, and then found your few good friends? Initially, people get attracted to other people who are entertaining, who talk a lot of interesting stuff, and that is how you start engaging with them. But over time you realize that a lot of your good friends may not be that entertaining, but they just understand you and you understand them. There's a kind of a good rapport between you and these close friends. So similarly, every entertaining company may not be a good company for you. You may not understand them well. There are a lot of other good companies who are in boring industries or who do boring work, who create boring products, but they have a lot of value in them. So boring is good in investing. Don't ignore them, and don't always try to go towards the fancy companies. There's a lot of hidden value in these boring companies. Next point is lifelong relationships. When you make a new friend, and when that friend becomes your best friend or your very good friend, you don't think that, okay, he or she is going to be there for maybe 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. What happens later, that's a story for the later day. But while creating those friendships, you always think long term, lifelong. Similarly with the stocks, if while buying you are convinced that the story of this stock or this company is lifelong, for next 20, 25, 30 years, maybe more than that, they can survive. Later on, they might change their business model. Something can happen. Some other company can disrupt them. But at the stage when you're buying it, if you're not convinced that you can hold on to this company for lifelong, just like your best friends, then that is not the right company for you. So that's it. Diversification, yes, is a protection against ignorance, but because we are so busy in our day-to-day life that we cannot understand all the stocks so well, just like we understand our best friends, that is why it's always advisable, and investment advisors advise that diversify. But if you are in certain industries or you really understand certain stocks, go ahead and buy them. That's it for today's video, and this is not an investment advice. It's just an analogy video to understand what the diversification actually means. See you next time with another interesting video. Bye for now.